Hey, welcome to For the Story, the only podcast whose average culture is agriculture, holding over and throwing boulders like Colby Smulders on Ann Coulter's shoulders. I'm Jim Rash.
And I'm Avery. Oh my god, best intro yet. We have a special guest today. Welcome to For the Story. Sid,
it's
you can
me.
say.
My name's Sid. Hello, world.
Yeah,
You're
we're
welcome.
here.
If you
We're
can't
here
tell,
with
she was just born 30 to 40 seconds ago.
It's incredible. And yeah, we all watched a film. We're gonna talk about it. We got a couple things to say up front, I believe. Do we not?
Yeah.
How you guys doing? Sid, what are you all about? Why don't you tell us a little bit before we really get into the deal here? Sid was on our podcast like a year ago. For actually 2 separate episodes, but we've since changed our format. We actually watch real movies now, so you might as well give us a little bit of an update.
It's nice to not watch porn for others.
Yeah.
It has to be just for me.
Now it's a selfish endeavor.
It's called self-care, love.
Sure.
We called it watching porn ironically.
It was still fun. I had fun. But it's also nice to like have a purpose to see newer movies. I saw Overlord.
Oh, as did I. I know Ash hasn't seen it yet, so we can't spoil anything.
Oh, go see it.
Yeah.
Better than Grendel thing.
Yeah,
Just
by
saying.
a huge margin. I actually looked it up because I was kind of thinking that Grindelwald, or what are we calling it? Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
I think it's actually
the official...
Fantastic Beasts, The Battle of the Five Armies. No, that's...
Wrong overdone franchise. Cutting it close, though. Battle of the Five Armies. Yeah, we had a little bit of a battle with the title of this movie. It ended up coming down to... My favorite was Jude's Law, The Crimes of Johnny Depp.
I really like
I don't even remember what we were group chatting in that.
There were so many, and we just like lost our shit.
Oh,
we were like laughing for like 2 hours straight.
Mine was really dark. One of my best ones, which was Fantastic Beats, the crimes of Johnny Depp's civil assault case.
Oh my god!
Fantastic
Beats DJ Grundle or something.
DJ Grundle's Grime album, but that was Beats in a different respect.
Yeah. Oh my god. There's so many. This is like the worst title for a movie ever.
But where's my phone?
No, I got it.
But basically, yeah. Sid and I both saw Overlord before we really get into absolutely ripping this movie to shreds.
Yeah, don't see it, dipshits.
Don't see Crimes of Grindelwald, see Overlord instead. It's gruesome, it's campy, the characters are great. Kurt Russell's son is in it, and he looks exactly and sounds exactly like Kurt Russell. So if you're a fan of The Thing from 1982, just like Ash and I are.
Whoa, stop lumping me into this. Yeah. I think it's fine.
Best movie ever. Anyway, go see Overlord. It's unfortunately not doing well at the box office. Honestly, with the content involved, I'm not really surprised.
Well, and that kind of makes me think, okay, so I like action movies, war movies, meh. They were very, very tongue-in-cheek and kind of self-aware at points with knowing that they were a war movie, and I really appreciated that because I've seen a lot. But I think that for the holidays, that's what I wanted from the Crimes of Grendel stuff, was just like, I wanted like something whimsical, and I wanted to feel like I was like, it was December, but I was comfortable while I watched it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see some holiday, like fun, Bertlebot beans fun with Harry Potter things.
Now, I was a really big fan of Harry Potter, and I get a lot of the sublore of this, but man, ugh.
I did too.
It
so
was rough.
I'm pretty sure you read some of the books too, didn't you, Sid?
Yeah, I read 1 through 3.
So a lot of the stuff, honestly,
would
probably be somewhat familiar, especially if you saw the movies. But there was a lot of fan service that was misplaced, I think,
and no one cared. Well, the whole series is like based on a book that is mentioned as being a book that they use for a class at one point in one of the books.
This is what we were talking about.
I wanted more.
It was like an encyclopedia that they based this on.
Well, I wanted more like fan Harry Potter world, like nuggets of love. Just like thanks for being a fan kind of things.
Yeah, but
and
no.
I feel like the beasts that they use, I was kind of being like, are they going to pull a beast from something else that we maybe haven't seen but have been
like
mentioned?
A buckbeak would have been cool.
A hippogriff, you troglodyte.
Thank you.
Or a troglodyte, like
bring
myself.
But instead, we got the background of France, which wasn't necessary at all.
Or they could have.
Why were they in France?
Sort of,
They had one
I
French
don't
guy.
know.
And then they didn't have any French creatures. They had a bunch of Asian creatures. Asian
Maybe
beasts.
it was to highlight the fashion, which was one of my only positive points for this movie, was that everyone looked really good.
Yeah, that's definitely a good
And
point.
being French, it's kind of, there's a chicness involved.
Where were the French people? Tell me
Huh?
where
Yeah,
tell me where
they were
the
all
French
British.
people were.
They were at the circus.
No,
They
those
were at
like,
the Eiffel Tower.
They were like Americans running the circus.
Prove it.
So,
but the people that went, though, they were like, I could be French.
Oh, you're right.
So
All those
before we
non-talking
really jump
extras.
into
Yeah,
Before
man.
we really jump into totally ripping this movie apart, it seems like you guys are just like literally waiting to just beat this with a baseball
I
bat.
do feel like I'm salivating.
I have a couple yell rants. I have a couple yell rants all nice and prepped.
Oh my god.
I'm glad. I got some angry stuff to say too, about 2 pages worth. But like basically I want to Sid kind of already gave an expectation she had. She was thinking
Yeah.
whimsical. That's good. Ash, what were your expectations for this movie going in cold?
I mean, I didn't expect it to be good, but
Fair enough.
I did expect single plot. I did expect if you're going to give me 2 hours and 15 minutes, I want some cool beast stuff.
Thank you.
I want to be like, hey, like this wizard Hitler guy, he's not great. I want to know what he's all about because Grindelwald's gay wizard Hitler. Just
Accurate.
and
It's
It
accurate.
would have been cool if he had a beast.
it would've
Yeah,
been
there-
cool.
why
Well, he
did he
did.
have
He
beast?
did.
Why
He did.
wasn't he actually a beast?
What was his beast?
The chupacabra in the beginning scene?
Ay.
He had
What?
he had the chupacabra in the beginning scene, which was like so dark and poorly CGI that you could barely make anything out. But it was the little monster.
It
when he
wasn't
was-
a chupacabra. What
It
are you
was
talking about?
It was a chupacabra. It was based on a joke because he said that he was late, like he missed some kind of press thing because he was fighting a chupacabra, and so they gave him one as a joke in the movie.
This is a different movie.
No. He had a chupacabra.
I think
It was
before-
for a scene. It was for like one scene, but he had one.
So I think I should probably put this out there. I have not seen the first movie. Both Sid and Ash have. I went into this
Alright.
totally cold. I think we all kind of came to the same consensus that it was pretty much just nonsense anyway. Like,
It's
even
alright.
though it wasn't like it was a sequel, and I felt kind of left out. But at the same time, I was just like, it was gonna
You
be
knew-
a little muddled. Probably not make a ton of sense, but it was going to be like comprehensible, and it was going to be like give you like a review to catch up people who didn't see the first one to like make it fit nicely together. Does that make sense to you guys? Mm-hmm. So I thought it was going to make some sense.
I think it made as much sense to
Yeah.
you as it did to the people that saw it the first time.
Yeah.
Because all that the first movie really proves to be at this point is more of a, this is who Newt is, and
Oh,
he
you
can't
poor
get
child.
laid. And these are his friends.
Yeah, like I have a problem with Newt as a lead just because he seems like an already developed character. He's like very kind, and he's got all the qualities of like a completed J.K. Rowling character. So he's very not interesting.
I thought he
He's
was
just not.
interesting.
He's not.
I
I thought he
didn't
was a
care
cute
about his
character.
arc or his story, but I
didn't-
wanted anytime he was on screen to have a
doesn't-
reaction or some input. I was like, "What's Newt gonna do?"
This movie wasn't about Newt
Yeah.
though.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But it doesn't say Newt and the crimes of Johnny Depp's bestiality. You know, it's about it's about
No,
the
I think
beasts.
their actual title was Fantastic Beasts: The Annexation of Crimea. Was that right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
same one.
Fantastic Beasts and D-Day. Like,
Oh my
fuck.
god. Oh yeah, that's right, because there was a World War II reference coming up.
I guess I can kind of appreciate the idea of wanting to tie in the wizarding world with the non-magic people world, but making it that war is get the fuck over it. Like, come on, it's like that's
but it was
just
the future.
An overly used thing.
It totally is.
Weirdly enough,
better than anything else he did. Like, because everything else he did, like what he wanted made no damn sense, and like that was the closest thing where I'm like, okay, like that's like a reason, I guess, to be like, well, we shouldn't trust Muggles because they're gonna World War II all of us. And,
so weirdly enough, actually, it's been confirmed from J.K. Rowling that The Crimes of Grindelwald is actually a prequel to Overlord. Did you guys hear about this?
Oh my god, shut up.
I don't get the reference, but I think it's a bad joke. It doesn't pass.
Yeah. God.
So before because we've already gotten into ripping this movie apart, hit me with some pros. There has to be some out there. There has to be something good about this. I have a couple things written down. But I'm curious what you guys have to say off the bat.
Sid, why don't you start us off?
Okay, I'm a little more optimistic than you are, Ash. I liked some of the CGI. I feel like for the most part it was pretty good.
See what this is?
Yeah. I thought honestly, like, some of the stuff looked really good, and then there was some of it that didn't look very good. But some of
like the blue dragons.
The blue dragon? I don't even remember that.
The blue fire dragon at the end? I'm just like, what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, like, that was nonsense. Yeah.
World of Warcraft cinematic.
Thank you. I was thinking about that too.
Well, what I did like was like the one Asian beast that moved like a snake. You remember that thing? That thing was cool.
Lion and then
the lion thing.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. That's kind of specifically what I'm thinking.
For that.
Well, that's the thing that
for
makes
that
me
Asian
happy
creature.
About. J.K. Rowling also like wrote the screenplay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe which is why it reads like one of her books.
Thank you. I felt that way too, but I also like how she's like. I fucking got into like the little like wonderment of these characters and their little things that make them tick. I think she's really good at that. And I wanted more beasts. I would be perfectly happy being in that fucking like sad basement apartment with all of the sick animals and just seeing what they do.
Oh yeah, I liked his basement. Yeah, his basement with all of the like biomes in it, I thought was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But that sounds like something like that's a product of the first movie, right?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. I really liked the first Dumbledore scene where he's asking Newt to go to France, and just like the whimsical nature of them apparating around town, and like the whole glove thing with the card.
I like that too.
I thought that was really like perfect Dumbledore. There were other elements about Dumbledore I wasn't so much a fan of, but I thought that was great.
Yeah, they did a good job of capturing like the spirit of that character early on. Was he in the first one? Was Jude Law in the first one?
No, he wasn't. But like just even
that's not true because I'm thinking Johnny Depp. My bad.
Yeah, Wait, Johnny Depp was in it, but Jude Law wasn't. And like he even did like how Dumbledore waves his wand, which he kind of does it like a conductor. He even did that well. He looked like he really studied the character. So props to Jude Law.
That's fun. Yeah, Jude Law was definitely a strength for this movie. I feel like for the most part, he was like almost out of place in how well he turned out. This is my cat, by the way. He's a fantastic beast.
Oh.
Say something, kitty. You've
been
on the podcast.
For those that don't know, the cat's sitting in a
He wants to escape. He's too fantastic for this podcast.
But yeah, it's, I really like this style. I think everyone looked really good. And I'm going to say that again.
It's that 20s. Yeah.
So, but like even then, like there's like this particularly what's her name? Zoe
Kravitz.
So she's
Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah,
she was wearing this silk dress, rock hard nips, and fucking Hogwarts, which I'm like, all right. Is this as sexual as you guys are gonna get? But she wore it in a couple of scenes, which was like, what day is this? Like, what? I felt like that Jumanji meme, like, what year is this? But that dress was great. There's another green dress, and there was just sewn, and it was just really beautiful. Like, you could tell that these dresses were made for this movie. Does
Okay.
that make sense? And there was also just a lot of like the colors and the paneling with. So yeah, I appreciated the style of this movie. That was the one thing that was like the saving grace in between these fucking heavily convoluted, poorly thought out plot lines between characters I really am not invested in. And I was like, well, at least they look good.
As a whole, I like script notwithstanding, I did love Zoe Kravitz in that role. I think J.K. Rowling, if she had realized how good she would have been, wouldn't have killed her off.
I didn't believe her. I didn't believe this, like, I'm conflicted and I'm, like, in a dark place and in between good and evil and I'm going to ultimately choose evil. You know, I just didn't fucking buy it.
That wasn't... She didn't choose evil at the end. What do you...
Didn't she die? She was like not accepted into the world.
And she got fire blasted or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
Yeah, she got fired.
She turned into a CGI skeleton.
She didn't turn into like she sacrificed herself kind of so they could escape.
That's
even
right.
that was hard to follow.
So like the fat American guy and his wife, but the wife ended up choosing the and they all turned into cartoon skeletons before.
Well, that's how
everyone
Newt
got out of there.
Scamander gets back in. It's because his lady love's sister is with the. That's how that second movie happens.
Oh,
or the third.
there were
one.
too many characters that were the same character. I felt.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
There were so many like female characters that just all had the same. There was like a Lena and a Tina and a Gina.
And they all like
And
kind of complemented the male characters.
Yeah, which was a little like that was a letdown for sure.
Rowling.
Like, but that's the thing. Like, Lita Lestrange was the only female character that was anything. Tina is so boring. Queenie was not as good as in the first movie, and Nagini did nothing for the whole movie. She turned into a snake once and had one line of dialogue and pouted a lot. Like, it was not good.
Yeah.
Was Nagini in the first movie? Because that's like Voldemort's snake thing, right?
Right.
So I made that connection properly. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure I was thinking the right thing.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Cool.
Oh, Voldy.
So, I think we have to kind of speak about the elephant in the room here, and that elephant is Johnny Depp and everything about him.
It's so the worst. I have a small rant for you, J.K. Rowling. I know you're a big fan of the podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
she
sorry to
is.
do
She is
this to
actually.
you.
She does listen to the podcast. Confirmed.
I'm calling fake feminist on J.K. Rowling for keeping this guy in the movie. He's just like not good. He's not even good in the part. I thought that she was trying to keep him in the movie because she wanted to watch Jude Law fuck Johnny Depp, which I get. 90% of people want to see that, and I understand on a deep physical and visceral level. But they didn't even kiss. You had like 2 instances of people basically being raped. And you didn't even have the gay couple kiss in the flashback mirror.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
That should have happened in the flashback scene. That could have been that would have been pretty interesting. I could have seen that for sure.
Okay, well, you have to think about like what company's producing this, blah blah blah. Those messages can get political for no reason.
I think
really
it's
quickly.
it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, but like they definitely had the scene where the woman gets like imperioed and then raped. Like, they didn't show the rape, but they were like, it's heavily inferred. And then Kowalski is like, under a love spell, gonna get married against his will. Like, if they're willing to do that, they just can't even have these 2 dudes kiss. I'm not buying it.
Pretty sad, yeah.
Yeah. I hope not. Well, whatever. We'll figure it out. Yeah. So when it comes to Johnny Depp, I feel like the impression that I got was that they had him for like a day or 2, because I feel like he was barely in the movie, and when he wasn't bringing a lot. So I got the impression that they had him for like tops a week of shooting, and he was drunk half of the time.
All the time.
So they were like, okay, what can we actually do with this guy? We got a big name. Like, what are we gonna do?
And we got 1 day to shoot it in.
Yeah.
And he didn't even sound like it's when he was doing his speech part at the end, when he was grandstanding for like the weird Hitler Youth rally, he didn't even sound charismatic. Or like at least watch a Mussolini clip before you do a speech. Like, he just sounded like
he was just talking.
Like,
can we talk about the stupid fucking skull hookah?
You brought this up so many
Oh,
times.
it
It's so dumb.
pissed me off. I would like kind of touch you and be like, "Oh my god, why is he smoking out of a skull hookah?"
Because
and
they-
then making like
they-
the future appear. Get the fuck over it. Where's your wand at, ho? I'm done with the skull.
Well, he has the Elder Wand, but that's besides the point. This movie...
That's how Dumbledore gets it.
Yeah, so it's like you
That's
already
the
know what
connection.
happens, but like
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
Like the Star Wars prequels. Anyway, I have a big point about that, but we'll continue.
I just think that in general, like this movie is exposition city, and like that's just one of the many ways that they force exposition. They force all these plot lines and like scenes that don't need to happen. Like when they go to the French ministry, break in and try and get Lita Lestrange's stuff. It's just the entire thing's just a setup for them to go to a different place.
I hated that.
It was so
There
bad.
That was really bad.
There was no payoff in so many ways, and then when they drop the payload, which is like what all of this is. Oh, sorry, am I far away from me?
No,
It's
you're
like,
good. Keep talking.
When they drop the payload, it's like that didn't even pay off. It was too much. There was so much like almost there, almost there, almost there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like finally it's like here's all of the plot in 5 minutes with the guy that you don't really care about.
That was bad.
Like,
Wait, you talking
just
about
saying all of
Ezra Miller or
What was the name of the character? He was the only
African-
black guy
yeah,
in the movie.
the only
he
black
thought
guy.
Yeah.
he was Lita Lestrange's brother.
Or something like
Yeah.
that, but
He
like
thought
there was
that-
a baby switched at birth or some
Yeah.
convoluted
Yeah.
bullshit.
So
And he explained the whole of the movie
Yeah.
in like a 10-minute boring scene. My thought is that that's a reshoot. I think that's a reshoot.
maybe, or just, dude, J.K. Rowling is the queen of just retcon nonsense. Like, this is a movie that is one of her books. And when you watch it like a movie, it's not that good. I thought they did a way better job with Harry Potter. They should have let David Yates just go, okay, I'll take all this information and I'll implement it, and we'll,
In a way that makes sense.
And also,
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling, you have $1 billion. Hire someone to write names. You're terrible at it. A Kelpie?
Hire someone to
A Kelpie.
write names. Kelpie is really bad.
Newt Scamander? Oh my...
I actually like that.
I
like
that one
I like
too.
Newt. Newt is a cute name, Scamander, because it sounds like salamander. That fits in with the whole thing of the whole franchise.
No, I'm so mad. Dude,
Yes, it
I got
does.
mad when the third book he named a werewolf character Lupin. Are you kidding me? You gotta be.
I like that.
I know.
It's
Why
for
can't-
kids.
Because like
Yeah.
if anyone knows English, which all these people do, they're like Lupin. His last name's Lupin, so like wolf. This is the most obvious thing in the world. And then everyone's like, "Oh, he's a werewolf? What? I didn't see that coming." No, it's terrible.
I think you're maybe assuming that people are smarter than they are.
That's kind of a good point.
No.
Also, she doesn't use any language. She
No.
uses like fake Latin for like the spell names and stuff.
So, a Kelpie?
I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's kelp. It was fun to watch, and it was a beautiful monster.
Yeah, I like that. That was one of my strengths for the movie. I thought that thing was cool. The whole thing with like the underground like zoo that he had was cool, but that's like
That's
pretty
2
cheap.
minutes.
Yeah, it was 2 minutes.
The
and then they
Nifflers were really endearing, though, too. They had a really good, like, Star Wars-y... Because it seems like that's something that Star Wars has done, is, like, cute animals next to all of this, like, very traditional, like, the hero's journey shit. And that was what I felt like the little beasts were.
Yeah,
You know.
it just felt really fan servicey for me, just because they know the Niffler was super popular from the first movie, so they're like, "Oh, let's make a bunch of baby ones. Everyone
Yeah.
will love that." Just some suit, fuck them.
It's like, yeah, I don't feel like anything was really carefully thought over, but I guess at this point in the franchise, that's what you get.
I guess they're gonna
That's
make
a good point.
5 of these. They're gonna make 5 of them.
Why
Wait,
wouldn't
really?
they? Why?
Yeah, they're making 5 of
So
them.
that actually is a good segue to my next point. This is a big con. I wanted to bring up the fact that this movie cost $200 million.
Where did that money go? Was it the 5,000 actors that they have in it for no fucking reason?
CGI is where it went.
Or it could
And
have
Johnny
gone
Depp.
into all of the, like, I feel like there was a lot that was kind of shoved in there, and there could be a point that was all a reshoot. It's hard to say that was,
That's a good point.
I wouldn't want to make a movie where you find out everything because someone tells it to you.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of an element of you're
book.
not doing a movie.
Yeah.
You what the fuck are you doing? This button poetry now? I thought I should have been able to get kind of some of these details early on, instead of seeing like some chick be like nerdy horny over Newt in like next to a water tank of animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was really uncomfortable.
That was ham-fisted.
Yeah.
There was a point, like, because I was sitting next to Sid in the
literally
theater.
made her wet.
Yeah, and she was like, and said, you can tell it if you want.
Well, because it was like the splash, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not going anywhere," or whatever, and she gets splashed. She's like, "Ooh," and I'm like, "That's how wet she is."
For Newt, it's just like,
That's how wet
yeah.
she is.
Now we can't see
All
the
right,
puddle.
next scene. Yeah.
Hello,
Hey.
clean up aisle me. Because if there's any way I like it, it's obvious.
So there's gonna be 5 of these. 5 $200 million movies.
Yeah, and
Right?
and like
Well, I don't know. Warner Brothers, they're trying to... That brand for the Wizarding World with all of those little wands...
big.
That was pushed. And I see that brand now, and I'm starting to recognize it. I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing.
They're trying to pull it all together, and they're trying to do exactly what Marvel has done successfully, and what every other film universe is trying to do cohesively.
And they're not
is create the
like,
idea
no
of a
one has,
cinematic
though.
universe.
No one has though besides them, 'cause
Except
they took
for
their
Marvel.
Time. They took their time.
They took 10 years to do it.
Yeah,
is really
you
what
gotta
it
take
came
your
down
time.
to. Everybody else, Star Wars is rushing it. Now Harry Potter is rushing it. Even.
Do you know who J.K. Rowling's favorite character from this movie is?
Who? What's
Tina.
Wait.
Tina?
No.
Yeah,
I thought Tina was
Tina's
better
the
fleshed out
only
than anybody
strong,
else.
non-sexualized female character in it.
Yeah.
She's
Who
also
is
just
played by,
female Newt. She's not her own character.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah. I don't know anything about Tina from the first movie, but what I do know...
She's terrible in the first one, too.
Oh, really?
Queenie ruled the
nice.
first movie. I loved Queenie
I
in the first one.
know, Queenie.
I feel like she was barely in the second one.
It could have been more Queenie.
It was more of the chubby American dude.
Oh, Avery didn't like the chubby American character.
I don't like
I
how
thought he was
keeps
bad
coming
comic
back.
relief.
Like, why?
Yeah, he
why
just
is
kept,
he
like,
there?
He just kept injecting himself. He was like the Jar Jar Binks of this movie.
No.
Yeah.
I liked him.
He was great in the first one, but now he was supposed to be the POV character where, like,
He was superfluous. Yeah.
Very
You're right.
superfluous.
He was the POV character in the first one that you kind of like went on that journey, and that would have been you, right?
I feel
in
like
that
people
situation.
probably liked him and they didn't know
But-
what to do with him in the sequel. You know?
Yeah, maybe that's it. They brought him back but I felt like he was like a C-3PO. There's a lot of these kind of very archetypical characters that fit the mold, and there is the cast, right? So it's kind of like story making, like grandiose story making by the numbers.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I definitely agree.
I agree.
I definitely agree.
But I think it even falls
Very by the numbers.
I think
That's a
even-
really good way of putting it.
I think it even falls short of that just because I think, like, the lead, Newt Scamander, I don't see how that character grows over this. He's not, like, a destined guy. He's already, like, a really good person. It's not like he has some major character flaw he has to overcome. So it's like...
Yes, there is.
What?
I argue.
Yeah.
At the end of the story, his folly, according to this storyline, is the fact that he didn't want to pick a side. He didn't want to fight for anything. He's like, I just want to do what makes me happy, and you can't make me like pick sides. And then, boom, there's a war, and now he's like holding his brother and like being like, I finally figured out what side I'm on. So that was his thing, is just to like,
That's right.
get
That's a
in
good
the
point.
fight.
He
And-
did say that. I think
And
that's
that's
actually pretty good.
that's going to add in. That's going to be part of his hero's journey. Even though so much shit had to go down in this one, I don't think anything is going to matter for the next 5, 8, 12, fuck me, 16 movies that they're going to make out
they're
of this.
never gonna stop.
Because
It's
why would
never gonna
it
end.
should be a
I
miniseries.
I guess it's just kind of a slow progression, and that kind of element was not really introduced early on. It was just kind of thrown into this movie.
Oh, we're kind of losing you.
Oh, you are?
No, I wanted to hear what you wanted to say too.
I just think that it was kind of thrown in compared to, like, I like that as an arc, and what you're saying does make a lot of sense, but it was kind of like a throwaway line that he didn't want to get in the middle of it, like at the beginning, and then at the end he's like, I guess I'm in the middle of it. Even though he kind of always was. So, like, that's why I don't 100% buy into that. I just think that, like...
But that's part of his journey, though, too. Like, he's always going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is... But that's been his character the whole time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's his fuck up. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm cursed with, like, always wanting to do the right thing, and I end up just helping people out, but really I just want... What's her name to look at me?
Yeah.
Tina.
What is her name?
Tina Goldstein.
Lena, Gina...
Which is, come on.
There's a whole bunch. There's a Lita and a Tina,
and there's a Queenie,
movie, right?
Yeah.
But I think Lita and Tina were supposed to have some sort of mirroring qualities.
Really?
Yeah, because
maybe I missed that.
Lita Lestrange was all about Newt's pee-pee, even though to the point to where she was going to like marry his brother, even though she obviously didn't give two fucks about him.
That's right, because she was at the beginning of the movie. I confuse those characters so much.
She's
around.
like, I just want to get in a family. I got a lot of problems.
She wants to lay it down, doesn't she?
I just want to get a
plant some roots.
In here.
Yeah.
He did really good casting. He kind of looks like him, I guess.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, and the younger Newt was good too.
Yeah. Oh my god, like really good. I almost thought it was the same actor.
Yeah, didn't it?
Like, they look remarkably similar. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, but that's also on that actor. And that's why I really like the Newt character because of what he's done with it, with all of these weird, like, almost autistic kind of isms, you know?
I said that earlier. That was kind of mean.
I mean, but it is. It's very, like, estranged, like, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, not really involved, but nearby. Mm-hmm. That was really well done. And I think that has to be, whatever that man's name is.
Eddie Redmayne?
We looked it up.
There you go. Yeah. I think that has to be his isms. And I think those are the same, like, kind of idiosyncrasies that he applied to a character that Avery especially was expecting to see from Johnny Depp and Grendel Thub. Grindel.
I thought that Grindelwald was gonna be a granola bar. I thought that Grindelwald was going to be a character.
Yeah, he's not a character. Problem with this.
That's what the title would lead you to think, the crimes of Grendel stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, I really thought that Grindelbeard was going to be like, I refuse to say his Grendel. Deck the halls with balls of Grendel.
Gremlins 2, Escape from New York.
Thank you.
Fantastic Beats, The Crimes of Gremlins 2.
Oh no.
Escape from
LA. The crimes of the production team behind Gremlins 2. That movie's bad, guys.
I don't know, so people really like that movie. You'd be surprised.
They're sociopaths.
That movie's got...
He's talking about himself. He's like, oh my god, that's
somebody.
I just have like a...
Somebody does.
I really thought that, okay, based on the title, DJ Beats Mode, the bestiality crimes of Johnny Depp. But you would think that it would have something. Right?
Fantastic Beasts, the bestiality of Johnny Depp,
and the crimes of Grindelbeard.
That's Grindelwald's crimes, is bestiality.
I thought that he was going to be like animal cruel. I thought it was going to be like, there goes Newt, the fucking nerd, Page Master style, trying to like take down a zoo, like a circus ringleader, you know.
That would have
been pretty cool.
That's what I thought this was going, but now I know they're like, oh, well, we're trying to talk money later. Yeah. So we're going to create like some sort of hookah skull thing that you can get for your fucking 26-year-old like friend for Christmas.
From Hot Topic. Of course.
From Hot Topic.
Spencer's Gifts.
It's just, and they're going to have their own section of Grendel stuff. Where you can get you get yourself an eye contact. You can look all fucked up.
That's what's next. At like a piercing place.
The blood pact Which, by the way,
Yeah.
I did not like their use of that. I thought that was really lame. Just the idea of like, hey, it's this one thing that can keep them from fighting each other. Why can't they just be in love? Why can't they just be in love? Well, and he doesn't want to attack her for that reason.
Everything has to have some
do
over
not.
significance.
No.
You know that's the case.
Why can't they just be in love? There are songs written about that, okay? If we knew why they couldn't just be in love.
Because one of them was controlling.
one
of them was just like, you're never gonna dump me. And it was probably Hitler.
Hitler dumped me twice.
I keep going back and fucking
Sounds
Hitler.
like a Hardy Boys novel. A Nancy Drew novel. Who dumped Hitler twice?
Why did Hitler dump them?
One thing that I had wanted to see going in, which kind of goes back to expectations, but because they were in France, I was expecting like Dumbledore to be doing a teaching exchange at Beauxbatons, Academy for Girls, because they have that French magic school that they set up in the fourth Harry Potter book.
Fuck yeah, they do.
Yeah,
oh my
so
god, why did I totally not think about that?
They bring up in the fourth movie or whatever and
But
never touch again.
I mean, if they're going to expound on a book that they mentioned one time and a character that's like off a playing card from some fucking box of gum.
That's because that's what they fucking did.
I mean?
With
Why
Grindelwald.
can't they bring in? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I wanted there to be some fucking reward for being a fan, and I got no bottle beans.
So the thing is
You
like what
keep
they should have
changing
done.
the name. What it's Birdie Box every
from
flavor
what I've
beans.
gathered, from what I've gathered, right?
Butter beans, bathtub breaker beans.
From what I've gathered, is the first movie they go to America, right? That's the thing. And then in the second movie they go to France. Why didn't they make it French themed at all?
Yeah.
Well,
At
also,
all.
They brought in
also,
the
'cause
New Yorker
it's
who's
about
like, hey, I can't get
like
a loan, even
he's
though
like
it's
David
the Roaring
Wizardson.
20. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sounds like David
But
Wizardson.
think about every fucking World War II movie you've ever seen. There's always a fucking
talks
Johnny
like this.
Two-Tones who's from fucking Boston or some fucking
That's
bullshit.
me. I am Johnny Two-Tone.
But no, you know what I'm saying? Like,
On
there's
the
some,
radio.
like, New York-ass motherfucker that's just like, hey, where's the bodega? It's Germany.
Hey,
you know
what
I
you
mean?
talking about?
You
We
know,
play
this-
baseball?
And
This
kind
is
of the
someone
war
else's
movie.
joke, but I'm apparating here.
Oh, God.
Is that somebody else's joke?
Yeah, that's someone
Whose
else's
is
joke. That's another
That's
podcaster.
That's really
that? You should tell.
Hey, I'm operating here.
Hey, what you're doing is, it's me. Hey, what do you know? The American guy.
Just
I'm from
like
New
smack
York.
someone with a hot dog or a newspaper and be like, I'm operating here.
That's
It's
his
it's
wand.
like all Spider-Man 2 scenes. It's like, you fight with one of us, you
Oh.
fight with all of us. We're throwing bricks at Dr. Octopus or whatever.
Dr. Octopus. He feels like the same movie. Oh my god. But yeah, basically, yeah, it was like David Wizardson.
But I felt
was in
like
this
there was a
movie.
lot of and maybe it's because I have recently seen Overlord, but watching Overlord just tied in so many war movies that I've seen that I could kind of roll my eyes at like the candid, like really obvious drawbacks to like, but like now that I'm thinking about the crimes of Grindelwald, it's just like I think about like this is kind of a World War II movie where they have their crew.
Yeah.
I think the next one's gonna be a
There's
World
going
War
to be
II
like
movie.
an American component, but it's mostly in that
13
European
years
area.
before, though. It's so much before World
Huh?
War II.
So far.
It's
Yeah, that's
1927.
true.
But they're referencing it already, and this is like what World War I ended like just a second ago for these people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Like 10 years before.
And like,
not
but,
even
like
10
we
years
have
before.
3 more movies before it has to be World War II. Like
Yeah,
that's the
true.
way I see it.
We have a whole like cornucopia of
I'm
films.
gonna be.
They
I'm
did
gonna watch
8
all
Harry
of these
Potter
fucking
movies.
movies. Every Christmas time, I'm gonna be in the theaters. Like, oh my god, I can't wait for this to be a really cute like holiday movie.
And then you're gonna be here with us in the film
and
hall.
I can't wait to bitch about it.
Yeah, because like, how do you make magic boring? How do you make it boring? Avery,
not
so
using
many
it
parts
at
that
all.
were boring. There
By
were
not
so
using
many
it at all.
parts that were just legitimately boring. Where I was like, this movie's too long. You could have cut out 45 fucking minutes.
We
of this
don't need
movie.
The feather que la fregada for a useless character just to explain to the audience what's going on.
he might as well
Calm the
just
fuck on.
stared in the
He's
camera.
not even really her fucking brother.
Which
Yeah.
also,
He's like, I've been confused for a while. Like, that was his story. Like, us too. What's going on?
his canon is that he has an unbreakable vow, and basically what that means is you promise to
Right.
do something or you die. So if that's not
Right.
his brother or his half brother and her brother, then why isn't he just dead? He should have just died when he realized that.
Ooh, that's a real loophole.
Big old plot hole, right?
Which is
Maybe,
also he's not really
Unbreakable-
Dumbledore. That's my guess.
Oh, interesting.
I don't fucking think that's right, though.
I don't know. It could be fun.
This is a Dumbledore we've never heard about in any of the books. No references to it at all. So it's like a
No, that's not even true. That's not even fucking true. Oh my god. So he was actually in the 6th book.
No, he wasn't. Aberforth. It's a different name.
Oh fuck! It's a different Dumbledore.
Yeah, and this is an
Yeah, I mean,
unknown
it could
Dumbledore.
all just be a lie.
Yeah, because Grindelwald's trying to manipulate him. Also, the idea that she switched babies on a boat and then she just happened to switch babies with a Dumbledore. Why was he going to America?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Couldn't they
Could
just
be, I don't
apparate?
know, it could just be a lie.
Hey, I'll
that
tell you
sounds
this.
convoluted enough for this story.
When I went to school in San Antonio, there was like 3 Garzas and like 18 Mendozas. Like, they're not all related. You know what I mean?
They might be all
It can
related.
just be a common name.
But, like,
that could be a
but, like,
common name.
Yeah.
It's not.
How do you know?
Because it's Dumbledore.
You know who knows? J.K. Rowling's.
You
Yeah,
know
she
what?
does.
She doesn't know anything because she said Minerva
You know what?
McGonagall wouldn't have been born by the time
get
this movie
her
took
on the
place,
podcast.
and she was in it. So I don't understand. Also, Dumbledore was a transfiguration professor, not a Defense Against the Dark Arts professor, and yet he was.
That could have changed. That could have changed.
He probably did a little bit of everything. He
This
was
is
eventually the
J.K.'s
headmaster.
world, and we just get to look at it.
It's
Yeah.
retconned
This is
as
her
hell.
brain.
Oh,
Yeah, it is retconned.
It's
what do you
retconned as
mean
hell.
by retconned?
Retcons when you like have an established plot line and then later to service like a future sequel, you rewrite something that technically fits in the story, but like is just convoluted and
but it
Yeah,
unnecessary.
it's
makes it
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it canon, but it doesn't. It's like really splitting hairs on technicalities. That's retconning.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going back in time and fixing
Yeah, so that's
a
this whole
previous
movie.
mistake.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
job, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what this whole thing
That's
is.
going to be on Jeopardy.
The crimes of retconning.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But okay, was it just me, or did like scenes of Dumbledore teaching in Harry Potter kind of take away from his mystique? Because he's always been kind of this mysterious, very powerful character, and seeing him like do
But him just being
shit,
a teacher.
yeah, it just made him seem
Like
less
Professor
powerful.
Lupulin.
Lupin.
Professor Lupus.
Well, why shouldn't he be able to do all those things?
No,
he should be able to.
he can. It's I think showing it takes away from his mystique. Like you show him
A
do it,
little bit.
like because
I don't know,
He
I can
does
kinda
very
dig it.
little magic in the Harry Potter
I
movies.
see what you're saying though too. Is also being like
A lot of his magic is subtle, like Gandalf.
if you're
Exactly.
in a Dumbledore class,
like
you're
Gandalf,
like
if
the
you will.
top of the class, and you know what I mean, doing all the things that make you exceptional, and then boom, you're in Dumbledore's class. Like, why do we get to see him just kind of potty train some kids?
Yeah.
So, I really want to talk about the camera work here before we keep going.
Oh, this
With
one
more
scene.
story
I wonder
issues.
if Asher saw the scene.
So
that
there's
I'm
a
thinking
scene
of.
specifically that Sid pointed out to me, and oh no, God damn
Okay.
it. Maybe he'll come back.
I may have lost
This
you.
is my fault.
Why?
Definitely lost
Why
you.
is this your
Hasn't
fault?
happened in a while. I disconnected.
Oh.
There we go.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
Have I still lost you?
Hey.
Okay. Sorry.
Hey,
about
we
that.
disconnected.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the camera work because Sid pointed this Sid. Oh my God.
You're welcome.
This scene out to me.
I did.
Where it was a Lita. It was Lita. It wasn't Tina.
Lita is strange. She's back at Hogwarts, and she's like picking at a desk or walking around a motherfucking classroom. Dumbledore finds her. But the way that it was shot was almost like a handheld camera. It was really
handheld.
shaky. It reminded me of a scene in The Office.
It didn't look like anything else in the whole movie.
Right.
I think it's a reshoot. I think that they realized how obnoxiously convoluted their plot was, and they felt that they needed
And
to
that's why
add.
this movie costs so much. It's because of these
They
double backs.
reshoot.
Because no one's a great writer. They're a great editor. Mm-hmm. Bet.
So that's what I'm kind of thinking happened, is that they reshot this, and then that they had $5,000 left, so they got they got Zoe Kravitz to come back because she was probably cheaper than getting any of the other actresses, And
But
she was the
Law,
only
Jude Law
character.
was there too.
Yeah, but briefly, and like they could have gotten him. They probably spent a whole bunch of money on getting him back.
Anyway,
maybe
that's the dress that I'm talking about. That she looks great in.
it's a handheld shot. I feel like they
Well,
couldn't spend the money on the equipment, so they got this person back. This is all speculative, of course. But
Well, we watched this movie together, and when I tapped you to be like, look at that angle, I was thinking that someone was under like an invisibility cloak. Because
that
that's
could've been
how
fun.
shaky and noticeable
Yeah,
it was.
it did feel like a POV. I remember
So
that
I
shot.
was thinking maybe this is, if I'm going to be on the, positive side, maybe this is like an Easter egg that you can like deleted scenes, some bullshit, and it's on a menu on a DVD or a Blu-ray. You know what I mean? But it stood out. Nothing else was like that. And then like I kind of subtly at some point was like watching for this really shaky, gritty camera angle. Just like, what's going on here?
yeah, it was very odd. It seemed because there was nothing else that was filmed like that in the whole movie, so it did kind of allude to a tertiary character looking on, or like it would have been great if like they were caught admitting something. You know what I mean? Like, and like some like wizard police officers came out from under an invisibility cloak, and they were like, you just admitted you're dead now, bitches. Like, that would have been cool, but that's not what happened. It just cuts and goes to the next part of the movie, which is filmed on a dolly or a boom, and it didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable. There was also a couple parts that I felt like the effects were just blurred obnoxiously.
Like,
at the beginning.
yeah.
The very beginning, yeah.
Especially it was like the owl flying through one of the ministries, and it just, you couldn't, like, the owl was
Exactly.
really hard to focus
Yeah.
on, and the back was so like out of focus that it was like, ugh.
I remember feeling kind of nauseous.
Yeah.
Not in
Thank
a
you.
fun way.
No.
It wasn't fun.
It looked like they didn't render everything, like it was rushed or something. So it looked like as it was panning past all of like, it's supposed to be all the offices in the Ministry of Magic, right?
Right.
And it just all blurred into like nonsense. And even if you tried to focus on it, like there was nothing there to focus on. Sid mentioned that it was like a Transformers movie.
Yeah. It reminded me of that. I call that Michael Baying it because everything's moving so fast, parts are coming out of nowhere. But if everything's moving so fast and the camera is, then no one knows what's going on, and it's
just don't
lazy.
notice it.
It is
really
lazy.
Which is weird because other parts like looked pretty cool. Like some of the
Yes.
beasts looked pretty cool.
Overall, the movie looked great. Even the people looked great.
I don't think it looked great. That's just
What didn't look great about it?
I just thought that, like, in a world where we have, like, I liked the design on, like, the Chinese, cat dog thing.
Oh yeah.
I like the
This thing
design.
looked cool.
But
yeah.
but like,
like
at the
a
same
float
time,
or
it
something.
was so obviously, I don't know, it just moved really obnoxiously, and like, I don't know, a lot of the CGI on some of the beasts, like the fucking Bast cats, looked terrible.
Yeah, those
That
ones looked
was a
pretty
really
bad.
good point. There was not a lot of creativity when it came to those. Even if they are cats, which is fucking
That's fine, I guess.
right. They were all the same cat. Like some of them could have been like roughed up, like they've seen some fucking shit. They could have been different colors, but it was like they copy and pasted a bunch of cats.
Yeah.
And like even the characters remark that it just looks like cats.
Yeah.
One of the characters is just like, what? They're cats? Like, whatever.
They're shiny-eyed cat, and like, I don't know, things like the snake transfiguration stuff. How have they not gotten the look of that better than in the
I thought
other
that
movies?
looked cool.
I
I thought that looked really cool.
It hasn't advanced since, other Harry Potter movies, which are like almost a decade old.
Maybe they're
Yeah.
just trying to keep it kind of consistent in that way.
I think they go to the same.
I think they did
I
a
think
good
they go to
job
the
of
same
making
studio.
a feminine snake, the ruffles, and then the texture of her poorly done costume, which that wasn't my favorite one.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
I get it, you're supposed to look like a circus performer, but she looked like she was like, she could have been on the corner in like Brooklyn in 1981. Like, it was a bad costume.
it was.
All right, guys.
They used the same shoes twice on
Okay.
two different women. Just saying.
To bring this back around, we're coming close to the end of our show here.
Oh.
I wanted
I have
to.
so much more to complain about.
Oh.
right, hit us with one more thing, and then we gotta wrap it up. Bring
okay,
it back
so,
with our rating and whatnot.
all right. Ezra Miller's supposed to be able to. The Flash, Ezra Miller, is supposed to be able to kill Dumbledore, but he turns into his obscurial form, and a guy makes like a bubble charm, and he's just chill. I don't understand. This guy sucks. Why do I care about him? Why is his posture like that? Does he have scoliosis? I'm
Seems
concerned.
like scoliosis.
I think what he's trying to exhibit is very low self-esteem.
Is it?
That's manifesting itself.
Yeah.
Because he's a powerful wizard that can't control it.
If I was going to argue something, I'd say the first one is most definitely about child abuse.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a running theme in the characters you're to care for in the Harry Potter world.
Sure.
Is that these people were like, not only overlooked or neglected, but also treated very poorly.
Right.
So I think that's why that character looks so meekish, and you just want to just be like, if I hit you, will you toughen up?
Yeah.
There was a lot of like, get over who your mom is. Like, you're fucking a grown. You can grow a beard. Like,
well,
stop.
kind of.
Grundle beard.
Let's
you
not
can
give
grow
him
a Grindel beard.
And then also, like, Queenie, she can read minds. Why didn't she realize Grindelwald's Hitler?
Maybe that, I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
I can make a lot of caveats for it, but I don't know.
It just seems like poor writing. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
she has to become bad now. Yeah.
But it's also dismissive, like, as much as I really like J.K. Rowling, there's a lot of dismissive and small, only supportive female roles.
Oh, totally. The fact that Kowalski, who doesn't use magic, is a bigger character than Queenie is, when she's kind of an interesting, like, counterpoint to, like, the illegality of interracial marriage and kind of a powerful figure therein. Like, the fact that she doesn't stick with that character, she's like, oh, no, she's gotta be bad now. You're a bad guy, because love makes you bad. Bad.
I think the whole reason that Queenie went over isn't because that she belongs there. I think it's because she doesn't, and they have to go save her.
She's going to be the character to save.
It's a boring arc. It's just
It
really
is
boring.
fucking boring, but at this point,
is a lot
it
of
would
this
not
movie.
surprise me.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to be as bad as you think it's going to be for the rest of the
And
series.
then he gets a fucking Phoenix. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get your beast out of here. Don't act like that was the point of this movie.
Yeah, they really tried. They almost like lazily threw in the beasts, because I feel like when they were writing the script, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is about the beasts." I forgot the title of the movie.
It was like, I guess we're stuck with these now. I mean, we said that's the name.
We gotta make it about beasts. It can't just be a simple, fun, whimsical wizard movie about monsters.
All of these actors did a huge promo the week before this movie came out, and it was all on Sci-Fi. And Sci-Fi's whole thing is like, this is for the fans. I know, because I kept it on, because I leave the TV on for my dogs and me. But like, I'll come home and it's still fucking, oh my god, they're still playing a Harry Potter movie, and then these actors in between are dressed as their characters. It's almost like a dress rehearsal situation, but they're not acting as these characters, and they're being themselves as actors. And they are all like, baby nifflers, these are the things to like about the movie, please.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember.
And they did that for Star Wars too.
Yeah.
With the BMO, what? Not BMO.
The
You know what I'm talking about.
Furbies.
B8, R8.
What were they called?
BB-8.
BB-8.
The Porgs. The Pogs.
And then they did that with the little ice crystal foxes too. So it's
the
just
Pokemon
like,
and Last Jedi.
this is what, the Pokemon. I think what they're trying to do is get a market of kids, be able to make a bunch of fucking toys, and get some ratings across the board. It's hard. It's a hard thing to negotiate, but I don't think that having one, like, there wasn't even a main plot. There was several subplots to keep up with. And it was like binge watching a full season of a TV show.
Interesting. So Sid, on that note, what would you rate this movie out of 10? And would you recommend it?
9.5, and no. I think I would rate it. I still am hopeful. I'm going to give it like a 4.
A 4? Okay.
It's not
You're nicer than we
the
are.
fucking worst. I don't feel sassy tonight. It's not the worst. I'm rooting for it. I know that I'm going to invest in like in watching and spending time in like all of these other movies that
don't get me wrong. I'm going to watch all of them.
I'm going to watch all of them.
I hated this, though.
And I will be resentful, but that's part of the fun of being a fan.
I guess a little bit. Yeah, I can understand that.
Know, is
getting into it
about
and
something.
and complaining about the one that wasn't so good.
Yeah, I would go
knowing
for
your
don't watch it in a theater, watch it on a Redbox.
Go to a Ralph's, get a freaking copy on
Get it at Walmart when it's in the $2
Go to
bin.
your local Wawa. Go around the back. There'll be a guy there.
Jerk him off, and he'll give you
and be like, have you heard of the crimes of Grindelwald?
The code is Snake Eyes.
No.
And you'll get a DVD. In an unmarked jewel
Just be
case.
like, you want to see my baby Nibbler? Or Niffler?
He'll let you into the back
what?
door. In 2 ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I know what you mean.
That's my ruling.
You're too nice. I would say don't go see this in theater. Absolutely not.
You hated it.
I
I had to be like, hey, lighten up. And be like, no, I was robbed.
I give this movie a 1 out of 10.
Oh,
Yay.
This is the worst movie I've seen this year.
yeah.
That's what you said about Venom. I thought you were tough on
I
Venom.
thought Venom was better than Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh,
That's when I knew
absolutely.
something was up.
Venom was better than Crimes
The
of Grindelwald.
CGI
I liked
looked better.
more stuff. Yeah, it did. And the CGI in Venom looked bad. There were parts in Grindelwald where it looked good.
Blue fire guys. Come on, they looked like fucking. They look so bad.
I did forget about that. I was praising the CGI for this one, being like, "That's a strength, right?" And now that I'm thinking about it, it's really not.
It's
as good
very
as I
mixed.
remember.
They took time with
oh
certain
my god.
things.
And that geriatric wizard that was just
Oh,
like,
his
okay,
name is
I know
Nicola
what's up.
Flamel. He made
Which
the
is
Philosopher's
again.
Stone.
Oh God, he is again another fan service character that
Okay,
doesn't need to be
also,
there.
I'm
It's
okay
the
with it.
Fucking Star Wars prequels.
But I also really like that he had a literal phone book.
Yeah.
Like he had a book full of like images of wizards, and then one bitch was like, "Oh fuck, all right, hey, you have to go. We're not going."
She's from the Daily Show.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
Jessica
I wonder if
Williams.
she's like a super fan.
I didn't even notice that.
She
I
is.
don't watch the
That's
Daily
why she
Show
got
anymore.
the she got the part because she's a super fan. That's literally what happened.
Oh, that's fun.
That's
I
really
like when
cool.
they do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that adds a little bit more depth.
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 1 out of 10. Don't go see it in the theater.
Oh my god.
Don't go fucking see it. Ash, your turn. What are we doing here? What's your number? Would you recommend it?
I know you guys realize how I feel. I liked very little of this movie. A lot of like unnecessary fan service. This movie was 50 movies that like all culminated in like, hey,
Yes.
remember all these plot lines? None of them matter except for this one. We're gonna tell you it like by staring into the camera and mouthing it and like with subtitles and just throw it at you. Someone's gonna give you a card with the plot on it. Like so hand
Before you get to the theater.
yeah, like here, this is what's going on. Like that's literally what you needed to follow any of this mess. If I had 5 words, it would be how'd you make magic boring? And I'm giving it a 1 out of 10. This movie sucked. Oh my god, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but holy mother of balls was this terrible. Don't make 3 more. Like shoot whoever did the CGI. J.K.
No.
Rowling, hire someone else to do your screenwriting. You can write books, you can't write movie scripts. Get the fuck out of here.
Bam, there it is.
Mic drop.
They better make 3 movies. This experience better not be for nothing. Better get at
Yeah,
least
this better
one
pay
good
off
movie.
next year.
The next one better be good.
Yeah, when the next 3 come out in the next 6 months.
Oh, Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Johnny Depp, Jesus
Fire
Christ,
him.
man.
Fire him.
Get him out of this movie. So bad.
I
He's he beats his wife or some shit. What a fucking cock ass. Get him out of here.
He's just a drunk. He's not.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
an awful person. He
he
didn't bring anything to the table.
He got a domestic assault restraining order filed against him. He's like pretty guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, I could file a domestic thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily get it though.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
Johnny
honestly
Depp.
honestly
He's
I'm
in trouble.
I don't know. This movie just like kind of like made me lose faith.
I say give him booze. Let's
get him more leather
interested.
bracelets.
Let's oil the joints, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
let's
get
get him
this
back to.
let's get this fantastic beast moving, right?
Let's
some
fill that hookah
Captain
with
Jack
crack.
Sparrow. Oh
Yeah.
my God!
Hey,
Thank you.
Let's turn him into a real psychopath. Let's do this.
Let's kill all the muggles.
Oh no. That's what I expected, and he was like, "They have their purpose." I'm like,
It's like,
ew.
what? Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of For the Story, where we totally just ranted about a film none of us really liked.
I thought this was never going to happen again, but apparently I was wrong.
I was
It's funny.
rooting for it.
The last episode that we did, Mystery Men, we liked. We actually enjoyed that movie, and I was like, finally, we actually like a movie. And now it's this again. Well, hopefully, I know Ash and I have to pick some movies for the coming weeks. I think we'll probably do that on the next episode, maybe.
Yeah, because next week we have The Man from Earth.
Yes, which I have not seen yet. So
it's on YouTube with Spanish subtitles in
That's
very
fantastic.
low res. So enjoy.
That's great. That's my kind of movie right there. Spanish, low res, 2007.
A great year for film. I don't know if that's true.
Oh yeah, there's some good stuff that came out in 2007. Children of Men came out that year, which is a spectacular movie.
Oh man,
Yeah, we're gonna have to review that one at some point. But
I remember watching that movie and being like,
it's
I've seen
depressing.
my first good movie ever. No, it's just, despite the sentiment, I was just like, I was interested the whole time. It was really nice to be surprised.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll have Sid back on again sometime soon. Thank you for joining us, Sid.
Ew.
Yeah, and this was
Sorry,
so much
I got
fun.
so mad, guys.
No, it's
It's
okay. We were
okay.
all pretty mad.
I'm scared of you.
But excellent. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Love you.